Once again, the beginning of the NFL's negotiating period for free agents is showing why the Seahawks would rather wade through the madness. Nick Foles, 26 career regular season wins, 4 playoff victories, 11,165 yards and 68 touchdowns passing with 1 Pro Bowl, reportedly agreed to an $88 million, 4-year deal on Monday to be the Jacksonville Jaguars' new quarterback. With bonuses, Foles could earn up to $102 million from the Jaguars, according to NFL Network. ESPN said Foles' eye-catching deal includes $50, $125,000 in guarantees. Russell Wilson, 75 career regular season wins, 8 playoff victories, 25,624 yards and 196 touchdowns passing with 4 Pro Bowls, just waits and smiles. At this absurd rate, $22 million per year for Foles, there won't be an existing bank large enough for Wilson to break with the Seahawks. His deal with Seattle ends after the 2019 season. I mean, Wilson is now the third highest paid quarterback within his 2012 draft class. 1 year after Wilson resigned with the Seahawks for 4 years and $87.6 million, Andrew Luck resigned in 2016 with the Colts for $122.97 million. Now Foles, who was a backup to Carson Wentz for most of the last 2 years in Philadelphia. Seahawks general manager John Schneider has said talks have already started on an extension for Wilson. Coach Pete Carroll has said everything is lined up to eventually get a new deal done. It is very likely to top $35 million per year and be the richest contract in the league. That is based on what Aaron Rodgers got last summer from Green Bay, $134 million for 4 years, $33.5 million per year, with $98.2 million guaranteed. We've been in communication with his agent Mark Rodgers, and I'm sure we'll continue to talk, Schneider said February 27 at the league's scouting combine in Indianapolis. Obviously, he's incredibly important. The soaring again free agent market doesn't stop at quarterbacks. Landon Collins, the thudding, 25-year-old safety the New York Giants did not keep after his rookie contract just ended, agreed to sign with Washington for $84 million over 6 years. The deal will become official when free agency officially begins Wednesday at 1 p.m. Collins' jackpot has to make Earl Thomas smile almost as much as Wilson, his now former Seahawks teammate. The Seahawks and Thomas separated months ago, leaving the 3-time All-Pro entering free agency for the first time this week. Collins getting $16 million per year sets the market for safeties. It puts in play Thomas's year-long demand to be paid more than $13 million per year with about $40 million guaranteed. He has 3 times as many All-Pro selections and twice as many Pro Bowls as Collins, with a Super Bowl ring Collins does not have. But Thomas is 5 years older, and is coming back from his second broken leg in 3 years. Those facts and Thomas's contract demand were why the Seahawks never extended Thomas's contract last year, and likely why Seattle could not trade him during and after he held out into September. Collins' agreement with Washington Monday only reinforces why the Seahawks are letting Thomas walk. Justin Coleman isn't a Seahawks for the same reasons, $9 million of them per year, in fact. Coleman reportedly agreed to a $9 million per year deal with the Detroit Lions on Monday. That will make him the league's richest nickel defensive back. Coleman was brilliant in 2 seasons as Seattle's nickelback, mostly covering inside slot receivers while playing about 2/3 of the Seahawks' defensive snaps. In that sense he was more a starter than Seattle's strong side linebacker. Now he is reuniting with Lions head coach Matt Patricia. He was Coleman's defensive coordinator in New England, before Schneider traded for Coleman at the start of the 2017 season. On his way out of Seattle, let's pause to appreciate what remains perhaps the funniest moment on the field the last couple Seahawks seasons, Coleman jumping into the Salvation Army holiday kettle at the end of his interception return for a touchdown on a Christmas Eve at Dallas. The Seahawks now have a new need at nickel defensive back, but it's not a shock. They figured Coleman was leaving last week when they agreed to re-sign restricted free agent cornerback Akeem King. King has worked inside against slot receivers this past year. Coleman would have been nice for the Seahawks to retain, but not at $9 million annually. In addition to Wilson's, All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner's contract ends after 2019. And we haven't even mentioned here Seattle's need to find money to satisfy 25-year-old Frank Clark beyond the top pass rusher's $17,128,000 franchise tag and salary cap hit for 2019. Carroll and Schneider have shown year after year their Seahawks strategy in free agency is to wait. Wait for the frenzied pace and mind-boggling money to overpriced talent to pass. Wait to more judiciously wade into the secondary phases of free agency for bargains such as 2018's guard DJ Fluker for 1 year and less than $2 million. Now Fluker may be worth almost 3 times that much for this year. That's how good he was, while perfectly fitting Seattle's move to a new offensive line coach Mike Solari's more physical, man-on-man blocking last season. The Seahawks continue to try to re-sign Fluker. "I'm counting on him. Yeah, I'm counting on him," Carroll said 2 weeks ago. "He fit us just right. Attitude-wise, you couldn't imagine a guy having more of an impact. His aggressiveness, his toughness, his desire to keep getting better and pushing it and fighting through the hard things and the difficulties. He was banged up some during the year and then he was just a monster playing. I think he played better than he did the year before for Mike with the Giants. He was more consistent and more effective, I think, because we ran the balls much more. You could see his style come to life. He was a big part of it." So, while the wowing deals for the likes of Foles and Collins, for left tackle Trent Brown going from New England to Oakland for $66 million with $36,750,000 guaranteed, get everyone's attention this week, the Seahawks will likely be where they've been for most of the last decade during the opening of free agency. Waiting for sanity in an insane, again, market.